Ladies and gentlemen, foes and fans, friends and fudders, welcome to episode number 2 of Shy Speaks SHIB. I'm your host, Shytoshi Kusama, and it is my pleasure today to bring to you something very exciting. However, before we get started, let's just do a quick prayer. Most High Almighty God, thank you for getting me to this day. Please bless all the listeners who hear this podcast and bless the entire SHIB army and all those who believe in what we're doing. Amen. Now, today we're going to talk about an exciting piece of technology that we've been quietly working on for multiple months, the alpha layer. It's something that's really exciting, truly helps us scale. And I have one of the developers with me, Wiz, who will be talking about it. Wiz, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Shy, for having me here.
Fantastic. Now, before we get into the alpha layer, there's some things I need to just kind of get off my chest. You know, I pay very close attention when I get pinged for multiple months or at least multiple days about certain topics. I read all the comments in the podcast, so thank you. And I want to address all the elephants in the room. So let's start by saying this. Number one, I am human. Ho, ho, ho. What a revelation. I'm not an AI. I'm not digital code. I'm not something that can be just turned on working 24/7 without end. It doesn't happen that way. I'm a human, which means I have times where I need to figure out what to do, how to construct my life in a way that makes sense. There are moments when I fall apart, not only because of the stress of being this personality that's leading a legion of crazed fans and people who expect miracles constantly. Not only that, but also just the stress of ordinary life. When I took you could call it a hiatus for a month, none of you have any idea what I went through or what I've been through. Let me let you in on a few different secrets. Number one, I'm from one of the worst places in the world, top 5. I've seen death. I've almost died. I've heard the sound of a bullet whizzing past my ear. I've seen what it looks like to look down a barrel and see the bullet in your face. And I am only here today because of divine providence. So all the death threats don't scare me. I have no fear. The only thing in the universe that I fear is God himself or herself, because obviously it's plural. Number 2, there's a lot of talk. I've heard this since before Shiba Swap. Do you know what it feels like to hear you're a scammer? You're never going to do anything. You haven't produced anything. You haven't done anything. When in actuality, I have been working with Cal, with a team of dedicated devs who are decentralized all across the world, trying to work through different time zones to produce something with no budget. None. You have any idea how hard that is? Don't look and try to compare us to Solana, who has hundreds of millions of dollars because they let people scam people nonstop. Don't compare us to something like Polygon, who has an incredibly large budget and can do all types of stuff, or Sui, who has an incredibly large budget. We had to go out and get investors. You think I would have done that if I had $400 million in my pocket, which is what you'll see if you Google me. If you Google Shytoshi's net worth, 400, wow, bro, where the hell is that wallet? Because last I checked, I'm in the negative because every single thing we've done has been out of pocket, minus that one small raise that we had. Even then, I still have to face the undying FUD that I'm a scam. It makes no sense. And shame on all of you for that. Let's talk about KIKI while we're at it. KIKI's been king of FUD lately. Shy's a scammer. Shy abandoned us. No, you idiots. I didn't abandon anything. I needed a moment. I needed a moment to get my life together, to cry my eyeballs out, to lose 25 or 30 kilos in 4 months, to stabilize my mental state, because every time I open my phone, there's non-stop messages that I suck, or I want you to do something for me, or I love you, or will you marry me, or every other possible thing you can imagine. You ever think maybe sometimes I just need to turn it off? Does that mean I don't want to work with you? Oh, of course not. It was my plan when I returned to really focus on all of the communities that have been working with us. That's why this podcast is here. You'll hear from all of the different fantastic and funny communities out there who decide to be on this podcast. From Ochi, the Dam, Oscar, where are you? I see you, etc., etc. KIKI was one. KIKI was the project that I believed in the most in many respects because it was a meme like SHIB. And I thought it would be cool if we could put our SHIB tech on Solana properly. And before I could crawl out of the depths of sadness, I get pinged that I'm a scammer from the people who didn't pay me anything. I haven't received anything. Wasn't in a rush to do that because again, we still have to build all the stuff that they want. No, what they really wanted and what so many want is for me to sit in the chat room and pump a token and tell everybody how grand it's going to be and do my magic. Well, hello, just me being in your freaking chat room is not going to pump your token. Stop asking me. What's going to make your token great is building incredible stuff that brings in revenue, which is what I've been saying to them and what I said on Mario's podcast. He got paid and I didn't. And all the other things that I have been doing for multiple tokens, and I'm trying my freaking best without a budget, being negative in a world where everyone expects everything now. Guess what? Now isn't always how it works. And I apologize for that. I wish I could do things faster. I've been working on the 44 tenets to triumph in crypto for a long time, for years, and it's complete. I've written the entire thing. I'm just editing it, but it took time. We've been trying to build something that's next level, and it takes time. It's not going to happen instantly. And in crypto, projects that take time and build things that are real succeed long term because in that case, it doesn't matter which cycle we're in, bull or bear. Doesn't matter. You keep pushing, but you don't turn and spit at the person who's trying and wants to help you. What happens when I do come back? You still want me to work with you? Because I never changed. I never faltered. Just because I go quiet doesn't mean I don't want to be there. But I do want to shout out some communities that actually did the exact opposite. One being Astronova. When I met with the Astronova team a few days ago, they asked what anyone should be asking. Shy, how are you? What are you working on? How are things? Not you're a scam. Not you suck because we haven't heard from you in a month. And congrats to them because I know what they're working on and it's amazing. Round of applause. Look forward to working with. Same thing with the Shy community. Shy on Solana. When I went into the chat room and said, I need a few more days. I'll be back on Monday. That's today. They didn't say you're a scammer. We hate you. You abandoned us. They said, we've been waiting for this. We know what you're capable of. That is the true essence of community. And I'm surprised because I never expected that from the KIKI ever in a million years. And just so I make it clear, let me show you what real scamming is. Scamming is rug pulling everyone on video multiple times. Scamming is using a big account to push something that you know won't live past the month. And you wonder why I didn't put the SHIB logo back on my account. And I won't. I don't want to be associated with that. I want to build real tech. I want to build things that change the world and make it better for everyone. Because if that's not what you're doing, what's the point? So all of you out there who called me a scammer, shame on you. I'm disappointed in you. And let me tell you one more person I'm extremely disappointed in. Vitalik. And I hope you hear this. How dare you ignore us? We've been building on your platform for years. We're the #1 token on your platform. We've pinged you for months and you ignored us completely when we only want to tell you what we're doing, get your feedback, and maybe get your funding. How dare you? You disappointed me. And that goes to the whole East Foundation. I'm not against you, but I'm hurt. We all are. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not what crypto is. If you still think we're just a meme, then you didn't do your own research. And I expected more from you. I expected more from all of you. And that is where I've been wrong multiple times. I expected so much from the SHIB community. I expected support from the freaking whales, the people who actually are holding hundreds of millions of SHIB. I expected your support and I got nothing. And still we push and still we build. I don't even know how we're doing it at this point. So that ends my rant. I hope you all now understand. And I look forward to working with all of you, hearing about what all of you are working on, scam or not, because I know there are real devs out there who are working on incredible stuff. Now, I apologize that I took a month to cry my eyeballs out to get myself together. You don't know what I went or what I'm going. Can't imagine what it's like to be shot. But you know, this is all really the core of what the alpha layer is about. We'll talk to Wiz in a second, but I want to say one thing about it in my opinion. It's an opportunity for all of the different communities to build on SHIB and to set up something powerful. So Wiz, if you're there, I apologize for ranting. You've heard this twice because we recorded it twice. Different rant this time than previously. Less volatile and less angry. But let's talk about the alpha layer. Wiz, are you there?
Yes, man. Yes, I'm here. Yeah, no, no problem. I'm honestly speaking happy to be part of this series, and I know I heard the first episode as well. For those who haven't yet, you can check it out on Spotify. If we start talking about alpha layer, it's basically you can think of what we are trying to build is if you look at in the current model of blockchain, I think it's highly fragmented. Like there somebody is building somewhere, somebody is building something on other chain, X, Y, Z, etc., etc. There is a lot of L1s, L2s, etc. And people are, as a user, honestly, if you're speaking, I mean, we have one question which we have been asking for so long, that why we are not getting adoption. In 2020, we were saying 2024, 2025, by then we will have 1 billion people using crypto. And even like, I'm pretty sure in 2015, we must have said like 2020 and all that. But the real reason, which I think we believe, is convenience, because it's really, really not convenient as a user to, have like 10 different types of wallet, 10 different type of, chains, accounts, balance, and do all the crazy stuff that people have been asked to do in the current ecosystem. So that's where alpha layer comes into the picture. We want to, solve the fragmentation problem. To give an analogy, you can think like an Play Store or App Store. I'm like for Apple users, I think it's App Store. So if once you look at it, before these things came into the picture, before you didn't have Apple and these ecosystem things, you have to go to the website, you have to go to the page of that particular application, game, utility, whatever you're doing, you have to directly get in touch and download it, or utilize it, or directly use on the browser, etc. But look at what people are doing right now. Once they have this whole ecosystem, like if somebody using an Apple ecosystem right now, they know how convenient it is, because all they need is one Apple account, and they have literally a lot of applications, a lot of hardwares and all that. This is what an ecosystem looks like. We miss that ecosystem in Web3, I think, and that's what we are solving here with you guys. Like, I know this is technically completely your vision, so I'm happy to be part of it. So if you look at it, if you are someone who wants to, think of it like in the roll-up perspective. So let's say there are 10 roll-ups, and right now in current scenario, if you have, let's say, Polygon, Solana, Ethereum, Optimism, Shibarium, etc., etc. If you have like 5 chains, you have 5 different RPCs, 5 tokens, 5 chain ID, etc., etc. But when you come to our ecosystem, which we are building, you talked about it, the network state. You don't need this. You need convenience. People are not moving in the direction where there is inconvenience. So to give that convenience, you just come into one place, you download, you connect to alpha layer, and then alpha layer has all these rollups up and running together. Let's say there are rollup A, rollup B, rollup C. Every rollup can, like, one rollup can have a different functionality. One of them can be, let's say, have an FHE. One of them can have like one of our 36 texts that we are building, karma points, all those included. And then there could be rollup specific dApps. And all you have to do is, you don't worry about 3 rollups, 4 rollups, and different balances. You just need one wallet, one balance. You connect to alpha layer, and as a user, you are just looking at alpha layer. You don't even realize that these 3 applications or these 3 rollups which are running on behind are actually 3 different rollups. From your perspective, as a user point of view, you will see these chains or these rollups as a single entry gateway point via alpha layer.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's like just like you see Play Store and App Store. Like, you just go to App Store, you download the app, you use it. Similarly, you go to alpha layer, you just choose whatever rollup you want to connect to, play with. Or let's say it's a game, it's a game based on rollup. You just play. You don't need a new wallet every time you play a new game.
Amazing. And so it's an account abstraction layer where you don't have to think about switching between all these different wallets and moving money from here to there and all. It's just one entry point, and that's it.
Yep. I mean, since you have mentioned account abstraction, it's more like chain abstraction or roll-up abstraction to be true. I mean, you don't even care which rollup is there, what rollup is this, what setting is this, and etc. You just need one balance and all. And yeah, I mean, if you put in that words, it's roll-up abstraction or dApp abstraction.
So Wiz, for those who don't know, for those who are plebs or noobs in this world, what is a roll-up?
Okay, I mean, general word, as the name suggests, roll-up is like an L2. It's a type of L2. So people generally confuse L2s with roll-ups and side chains and all. There is a whole lot of argument if a chain is an L2 or not. It's a gray area, I would suggest. I mean, I know there are definitions and people might try to bash me for different definitions, but as you know, like, I believe it's a gray area. So rollup is a type of L2 where the data, what is getting processed, is put back into the settlement layer. I mean, in case of, I'm talking in general. I mean, there are data availability options and all that. I won't go too much technical here, but the thing is, it's a type of L2 where you are inheriting the security from your parent layer. In general, Ethereum, I mean, most of the rollups are built on top of Ethereum. So if your parent is Ethereum, you're basically inheriting the security while you are processing the transactions in the site and, putting back only the necessary data back on Ethereum, because Ethereum is a bottleneck, right? I mean, that's why the L2s got born, because Ethereum was not able to handle. I mean, imagine if there is no Polygon, no Shibarium, no Optimism, nothing, and what would Ethereum look like? Maybe.
I remember like when there was $500 gas fees on Ethereum. I'm old. I'm old enough to, what was that, 2-3 years ago? I remember. And the ability to really have something that's next level to scale is so important, because I think about it like this. When you look at this on a global scale, right, that means that each business could have its own roll up where it could process all its transactions. I could go to any outlet in a certain region, tap to pay or get rewards from that place. And I don't have to think, are they using X or Y or Z? It won't matter. I just use one app and I just interact with that company or that business easily. This is huge when you begin to think about the proliferation of AI, when you begin to think about how AI and various technologies can scale with this, when you think about how businesses can scale with this, when you think about how governments can scale with this, it's very important. And I think that's why I'm so excited about the alpha layer, because this truly allows us to onboard the next billion users, which I've been saying for a while now. Everybody says they're going to onboard the next billion users, but they aren't really ready to. But we are. And that's what makes SHIB different. That's why I love SHIB tech. That's why I love the technologies. And for those of you in the comments on episode 1 that said we aren't building tech, yeah, we are. And they work. And that's what matters. So sorry about that. A little bit of a rant there, but still a little angry about that. But at the end of the day, what we're seeing is the possibility for a user to not have to think about what they're doing, but they don't have to think about switching and swapping and changing. They just do. And it's going to be so vital when you begin to integrate large scale apps like, let's say, Uber. If you want to integrate any type of Uber app, you need something like this, because then it doesn't matter as much what chain they're using. They're just another roll app that sits on top of the alpha layer. And there's one more thing I want to mention that we haven't talked about yet. We talked about Shibarium, and Kyle made this clear to me a few months ago that all of these transactions will end up settling on Shibarium, which makes Shibarium a data availability layer, another huge utility for Shibarium and for Bone, which I'm really excited about as well. And then, of course, that all settles on Ethereum, which gives us the ability to not overload Ethereum at the same way. And Shibarium can handle it. Hey, 1 billion transactions. Congrats to the team again. So I think I'm beginning to understand all this. And I think our listeners are beginning to understand this. Is there anything you wanted to add about this alpha layer? I know that it's going to be coming in beta pretty shortly.
Yes. So yeah, people might confuse, like, if you use alpha, beta, and these things together. So just to put what you said into perspective, why alpha layer? I mean, see, alpha layer is a generic name. It's something like, think of it like a tech perspective. So we are calling this tech alpha layer. As you said, there are endless possibilities. I mean, imagine governments using it on their own, like, rather than using it as a part of this, they can have like their own private alpha layer where, like, let's say there is a network, alpha layer network, all the users are connecting to it, and then there is all the rollups. I mean, in our case, if I include Shibarium, so there is alpha layer. Think of it like as an umbrella. Below the umbrella, there are, let's say, 8, 10, 20, 50, 100, whatever number of X number of rollups, depends on how many use cases, and like endless possibilities, as I said. And then all this data, all this transaction these rollups are producing are getting settled on its Shibarium, because Shibarium is actually cheaper, robust. I mean, as you said, 1 billion, right? I mean, it's not million, it's a billion now. So 1 billion transactions. So there is no trust issues now. We know it can handle. So yeah, it's going to be comparatively cheaper. It's actually faster. We have a faster block time and faster finality time, and everything from that Shibarium goes to Ethereum all the way. So it's like a top-down approach from alpha layer to roll-ups to Shibarium to Ethereum. So everybody is involved. We're not leaving anything out. So that's the ecosystem we are talking about. Just like if you look at any other big ecosystem which people are part of, although they don't realize it. But if you look at from outside, there are multiple components involved, and every component is doing its job. Similarly, in our thing, we already have Ethereum, we already have Shibarium up and running. We have this thing in private devnets, testnet right now, and yeah, very soon we are going to go to public beta, where we will let people see the glimpses of what we have done. And yeah, I mean, that's when they realize they can just have like literally one single wallet and actually play with all the roll-ups at one place. And coming to use cases, I also believe that people like public companies can obviously be a part of this ecosystem. We know, like everybody knows, we are using FHE as well. By the way, I'm not sure if we haven't talked about it, but we are partnered with Zama and we have like FHE. So if I've not mentioned it, you can make any roll-up, an FHE roll-up on the go. So it's not like just roll-ups. You can customize it. So if there are 10 roll-ups, doesn't mean all 10 of them are same. They can be different and still work.
That's the beauty of what we've built. We've built something that is modular, and that you as a dev can decide what pieces of the operating system that we built that you want for your rollup. I think that's super important because it shows that we're thinking about every possibility. And having FHE on a rollup, I mean, it's kind of a big deal when you really think about it, because if my rollup is designed to provide quantum level, that means not broken by a quantum computer, encryption, and I need that for whatever reason, because I'm building something that's super private or I'm building something for the military, this becomes a powerful thing. And I'm assuming you don't have to show that rollup to everyone else. It can just run privately for you. That's why this is such a powerful play for us. And there's one more thing I should mention. The alpha layer, last I checked, will be accessed by Treat and can be accessed by other tokens as well. So what this means is, let's go back to the example of multiple rollups or rollups. And this project uses X token and this project uses Y token. You'll use Treat to access the alpha layer, but you'll also be able to still get these other tokens into your wallet as well, which is really powerful and allows for modularity and scalability. This is really the vision that I've envisioned for years and that we've been working on in a very secretive and step-by-step approach. And now that we're nearing completion and releasing all this to the public, people are beginning to realize what we've built. It's really next level. And I'm excited about it. And I can hear in your voice that you're excited about it too, Wiz. Is there anything else you want to tell the community before we go? We're almost at the 30-minute mark, a longer podcast than I'm used to, but that's okay. Anything you want to add?
Not much. I mean, there are a lot of technical aspects which I would like to avoid here. But if there is anything specific community wants to know, they can route it through our proper communication channels and try to answer all of them. And as you said, we are very soon going to launch it. So all I can say is that I know we have been very secretive about it so long, but I truly believe that people actually don't realize what we have been doing in-house. And I think it's that what we are bringing is going to be I think the next big thing. And yeah, I mean, it can truly give us that opportunity to bring, if not billion, like a million number of users. Because as I said, I believe convenience is the thing. And if you don't give convenience to the people, they won't move. We have to accept that our community, our whole world right now, not just crypto, is lazy. You look at Uber, what they're doing, giving you cab at the doorstep. You look at Amazon, what they're bringing, they're delivering parcel at your home. In a lot of other countries, they are literally doing 10, 15, 20 minutes delivery. So convenience. Same in blockchain. If it's inconvenient, people won't do it. Once you make it convenient, nobody's stopping them from coming in.
Yep. And Wes, you brought up a good point. It's not only is it about convenience to truly achieve adoption, but it's also about the ability to use crypto differently. Because right now, crypto is all about, will my token pump, right? Release a token, let it pump, see if I can get a 10x. Can I get 100x? But what people don't realize is that blockchain and the technologies around blockchain are actually quite robust. And they have so many use cases outside of token go up that will change the world when implemented properly. And all of that future has to have a proper infrastructure. And that is what we've built. We've built the proper infrastructure for Web 3 and, dare I say, Web 4, which I won't go into right now, but I'll tell you this. If I was thinking about this years ago, and we start building all of this years ago, and you can imagine that now I'm thinking about what Web 4 will look like, and making sure that we are aligned with what that will be. That's the secret sauce, building the infrastructure for the future, the operating system of the future. And I think we can end it there. Wiz, thank you for being here, bro. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Pleasure to give a glimpse of the incoming tsunami, I guess.
Fair enough, right? It's the moment when you see all the water move from the beach and you either run or you go, I don't understand what's happening. Right? Anyway, thank you all for listening to Shy Speaks SHIB, and in this case, a little more than SHIB, episode number 2. We have a great lineup of speakers coming forth. You'll hear from our friends at Zama. You'll hear about all the devs that are developing on Shibarium, and you get a little more of a glimpse into what's going on in my life and how I've been pushing us forward. I look forward to anyone who wants to reply to this podcast, good or bad. I'm sure the fudders will still find a way to FUD because that's what they do. I look forward to a response from Vitalik. Yeah, see that quiet there? That was because I'm not going to get one. And I look forward to building with all of you. And for those of you who know what's going on, you can reach out to us if you're interested in investing in the technology. We don't do OTC, so stop asking. We don't have the tokens to give you for SHIB. I get that question all the time. How can I do OTC with SHIB? Bro, what do you not understand? We don't have SHIB tokens. We are literally building because we love the community and we want to build something that's next level. But anyway, I've said enough. It's been a pleasure. All of you take care, be well, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thank you.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.